Hello, everybody, and welcome. I am Tom Collihew, and you are currently watching a Tom Collihew Smackdown watch party. We are live both on YouTube and on Twitch. And on Twitch, I have to send a quick thank you to Sean Garner85, who I know pretty well from commenting right here on Twitch, where you've now followed. No, I know you very well from commenting on YouTube. I've seen you pop up on Twitch a few times recently. Thank you very much for giving me a follow on Twitch as well. Michael Latina's already here saying hi, Tom. Long time no see. Indeed, Michael. I feel like I haven't seen any of you in years, mate. Years. Such a long time. We are live now on both sides. Today, lots of things happening. Bayley, as we know, has picked up an injury, an ACL tear right off the bone. And that means we're going to have a brand new challenger for Bianca Belair. In addition to that, by the sounds of it, we've got 2 NXT call-ups coming. For anyone who doesn't want to be spoiled, mute now for the next 5 seconds. It's going to be Tegan Nox and Shotzi Blackheart have been announced as being in a tag match. And your spoiler warning is clear. Bailey says, thanks for an informative spoiler warning show. You are welcome, Bailey. I do try my best to try and make shows that people can really enjoy. And it was a really well attended show. I was surprised by how many people came in near the end there. We got very high numbers for a spoiler warning show, even though spoiler warnings are the A show, as it were. Sean says, these call-ups tonight permanent, or will they be going back to NXT after tonight? By the sounds of it, we're still looking at a trial, but a live trial. So it would still be a trial service, a trial basis, but they would be heading back, as it were, afterwards. That's all I've heard so far, but it's one of those situations where basically anything can happen at this point. Hard to tell. Sorry, one sec, guys. Let me turn off my... that's the auto rotation. Let me just turn that off so that I don't miss anything. Moxie says, hi, welcome, Moxie. Glad to see you. Thank you for following Edders as well. And Moxie also says, Tom, how do you watch WWE Online on BT Sport? Yes, BT Sport. I'm in the PS4 app, and I have my PS4 here and a TV here. I use a TV it's plugged into both the laptop and the PS4. Right now, it's going through the PS4. Over times, it will go through the laptop. So that's how I do it. If you're watching on YouTube, please do give me a like and leave a comment. Ask a question. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know if you're looking forward to SmackDown. Let me know what you think is going to happen tonight. Let me know what call-ups you want to see. Let me know everything like that. The StreamYard service, which is what we use when we dual stream, I can click on comments and you'll pop up as I answer the question. In the meantime, I can also make that banner go across that way and see how it goes there. Sean says, will they be announcing a no participant for the Money in the Bank match? Yes, they will. To my knowledge, just the one. Moxie says, do you think Cross will ever be WWE champion? No idea. No clue whatsoever. He's just started his career. You never know what's going to happen in WWE. Sean says, on the women's side. Yeah, I assume that's what you're meaning. We know they're going to announce the final 2 for the men, but I believe they're only going to announce 1 for the women. Chelsea says, what was Bayley's injury? She has torn her ACL, so her anterior cruciate ligament. She's expected to be out for 9 months. I think essentially they've just stuck their finger on a calendar and said, yep, it's going to be 9 months. Sure. I think it's a bit of guesswork on their part and more a sign that they're not going to play and they're not going to plan anything formally until we get to the point at which WrestleMania's been and gone. I think that seems the most likely scenario. SmackDown is just starting. We're opening with a Jimmy Uso recap. They haven't edited any Jimmy Uso away. Plenty more. I'll be interested to see if there is any reaction from the WWE after Jimmy Uso was arrested for driving under the influence. Quite severely under the influence as well. How much will they use him? Will Jey Uso be back? And of course, how much Roman Reigns we're going to get? Because there's no such thing as too much. You know? There's no such thing as too much Roman Reigns. Sean says, when did she get injured? Either today or yesterday. Very recently. Matt says, so it could be Carmella, but could also be someone else, as Peter Insider reports. So, could be pretty much anyone then. Michael says, as regards Jimmy, he's going to get himself or someone else killed. Jadeb says, leave it to WWE to pick the most inappropriate segment to start with. Yeah, welcome to the show, guys. And Chelsea says, what are the odds Jimmy's losing a match or getting some sort of punishment? Very low. Like, unnervingly low. You know, sort of, it shouldn't be this low, sort of low. Way too extreme. Just, we expect more, really. We expect more. We're opening with Paul Heyman. Jimmy Uso, literally the second man on screen. Literally no change being made. They've literally changed nothing so far. Plenty of Jimmy. Matt says, to be fair, the Usos got pulled over and arrested 2 days later on a pay-per-view, won the titles from Miz and Shane. Yep, keeps happening. It keeps happening. Bayley with a good call here. 4 DUIs is Sunny territory, and she spiraled out of control. She did. She really did. I don't think Jimmy Uso is going to spiral that far out of control. If he does, my God, you know, just dear God, that would be a very bad situation for everyone involved. It feels like it's been forever since we've actually seen the SmackDown intro. Am I the only one who thinks that? Sean saying, when does Bianca lose the title? I believe it'll be SummerSlam. For me, SummerSlam is the clear favourite for Bianca losing the championship. I think it's enough Bayley in that opening video, to be completely honest. I think she only gets one couple of seconds. Jacob says, I'm very conflicted. I don't want to watch, knowing they don't give two shits about Jimmy driving drunk 4 times. That's not a mistake. That's a choice, my friends. I agree. It's a clear pattern, and he seems to be getting nothing to break that pattern. Megan says, I wonder if Jimmy being on TV is giving more stability, some stability more than anything else, giving something to focus on in a more positive direction. It's certainly a possibility. I know when I'm sad, I like to work, which you guys have experienced quite recently, me being very depressed and just wanting to keep working. So it's not an impossibility. Moxie, you're asking questions I really cannot answer. I've given my opinion on when Bianca loses the title. Bobby and Rhea, I have no idea. No clue. Not a clue. And Sean says, wow, you guys. Will the winner of the Women's Money in the Bank match cash in successfully? How do I know that? I have no way of knowing that. I don't even know who's won it. I don't know who's won it. I don't know who's going to be the champion for the next year on either brand. I don't know what brand they're going to be on. I don't know if the briefcase is going to change hands. There is far too many moving parts for me to answer this question. Jill says, why is this the first time I've ever seen the SmackDown opening credits? They've been on a lot. Like, they've been on a lot. It's just not recently. And Chelsea also says, final SmackDown in Thunderdome. Thank fuck. After tonight, the Thunderdome gets retired. Oh, one sec. J-Dub, in the show earlier today, we got a lot of these questions. They're not hypotheticals. They're genuinely not. Do you remember how the end of the show last week got, on Raw, got a bit derailed? It's a vibe I get sometimes with certain questions. I like you guys. But there are questions I just can't answer. Oh, to be fair, Matt, do you remember Ali? Had both hands on the damn thing. Both hands. Sean, I'm pretty confident no one's going to. Pretty sure there will be no mention whatsoever. Megan says it is going to be interesting to see who'll be the first woman to lose her cash-in. That's a fair point. Everyone has been successful so far. It'll be interesting, I'll tell you that. To be fair, that's pre-recorded. We've got to find out whether it's been pre-recorded or whether it's going to be pre-recorded. But certainly Megan did her research and there are suggestions that it's already been pre-recorded. Just says, do you think they will have a new stage layout for live shows? Live shows, as in with fans? Yes, there are new sets being prepared for Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. That's true, Megan. Also another example. Moxie saying, hopefully Drew and Jin to destroy the Thunderdome. McIntyre would definitely be someone I'd expect to be part of it. I prefer it to be McIntyre and Lashley, but I'd like their feud to be over as well. It's a good thing that Roman has taken forever to actually get to the ring. We are basically 10 minutes in and nothing has happened. Best would be Roman comes out and banishes Jimmy for embarrassing the family 4 times. That would be pretty cool. Would be pretty cool. Source, please, Matt. Jill says, I hope the set looks mad. Certainly could. I hope so. We need a bit of variation. We just need a bit of change. It's told to give her... But that's not... They always go back to the, oh, she's won 2. She hasn't. She didn't win the first one. Chelsea pointed out Paul Heyman's new do. Oh, wrong bit. New do. Thank you, Matt, for giving the source on that. Fair comment. Publicly embarrassing someone, probably negative. Still, might be the only thing that makes him change. I want to be positive. But at the same time, I can't be. I just can't be. Roman started talking. They've way turned up the audio on these boos. They're getting him used to the live crowd because the live crowd are really going to boo this guy. That's good news. Chelsea, I wouldn't necessarily just say younger fans. Here's the thing. That report, even though it came from TMZ, will still only reach 20-30% of people watching tonight. That's his Roman out there by himself is weird. He's got Paul Heyman. This is how it started, so it's not that weird. Bloody hell. I have a busy chat. When Brock returns, will Heyman join him and ditch Roman? I don't know. I think there'll be cheers, Matt, but WrestleMania told us they're going to boo as well. Michael, definitely. There will be some cheers. He is the cool heel. This is an NWO Roman right here. Like, this is an NWO guy. It says mental health. Jimmy doesn't care about family mental health if he kills someone on the road. 1 time is a mistake, 4 times is someone who doesn't care. We were always going to have differing opinions in here, and we were always going to debate this topic. It's one of the best things about knowing that we can just talk things out here. You know? That's a positive. I didn't hear that, Chelsea. I didn't hear it. So we'll wait and see. I would love that. I would love that. Pretty much, Matt, yeah. I don't expect it to be any different. It's just that people like Roman now. Almost too much. I could see that, Moxie. I could see it. He definitely said the word jail. Edders returns the raid from earlier today, raiding with his party. Welcome, Edders. Thank you very much for joining us. Hello, Island City as well. Thank you very much, guys, for the raid. How was the stream? I missed the rest of it because I went to have a nap before SmackDown. So how was the rest of your stream? I saw technical issues just as I was leaving it. Thank you very much for the raid, Edders. Really do appreciate it. Every raid helps. One of the reasons we were able to raid you for so many people is because someone raided us beforehand as well. So it's one of those. Raids are some of the best things to do in Twitch, and Twitch is a wonderful place for doing that. Great, that's good news. Michael says, how will they handle Roman when they start to travel with his health history? I'd imagine this is one of the reasons they're trying to make sure people are vaccinated everywhere they go. I'd imagine that's a large part of the reasoning for that. Gotcha, J-Dub. That's a good idea. Me too, Edders. Me too. I remain hopeful. Roman said he was in prison last week. Interesting. I mean, you rewound it. You checked. Who the hell knows what's going on there? Let's see if there's any reference to it. Thank you, Edders. Thank you very much for the lurk. And I very much appreciate you returning the raid and dropping in and saying hi. Hope you have a good night. Jey Uso is back with a nice new jacket. They needed Jey Uso back, if not just to distract from what was going on with Jimmy, from what is going on with Jimmy, I should say. It's not a was. Pardon me. I says Roman did the people's eyebrow. I respect it. Head of the table. He's in charge of the family. The eyebrow belongs to him. He's not going to change minds, I don't think. I think most people by now have just decided on Jimmy, and I think that's fair. I think this would be a perfect opportunity for Jimmy to take a beat down and vanish for a while. Okay, no, that's real. No, that's real. That's Jey Uso really saying that to his brother. Jimmy knows it. That was real. Jay's just watching him. Jay essentially saying that Jimmy's going through some hard times. Jay's always got his back, but we got to get our heads down. We got to get back to work now. Basically, stop fucking about. Heyman just holding the championship up in the corner. I like it. So we have a newly combined bloodline, with Roman clearly in charge, how it should be. I know, right, Matt? Isn't it gorgeous? Isn't it gorgeous? True. And apparently hugging the Usos is how we're going to get there. So the bloodline are combined. Well, I believe they're going with their family rather than the bloodline, but I'll take it. Edge is very fucked. Like, he's very fucked. Michael says, I like the sight of Heyman holding up the belt in the corner of the ring. Oh my God. Baron Corbin looks more like a hobo than ever. Is he losing weight as well? I think Corbin's losing weight as well. He looks so bedraggled. He's going to lose his house. I know that feeling. Corbin's looking to turn his life back around. I'm afraid I've got some bad news for him. Jill says, I like this a lot. Good storytelling. Baron Corbin has somehow become the most interesting character on SmackDown. Megan says, I love this, but I'll miss ASMR Roman, I will say. You're right. Me too. Absolutely me too. Baron Corbin doesn't even have an entrance music. He's not even got music. What is happening? That's cheers from the crowd. Okay, Chelsea, fair enough. I thought you meant Baron Corbin because I was totally there for that. Yeah, I think Roman, since he returned, so nearly a year now, he's made constant, subtle advancement in all of his storylines, and it works. Yep. Very true. Right now it would be Jay because Jay's main event Uso. But it depends entirely on the situation. If it ever happens, I don't think it ever will personally. I just personally wouldn't go for it. And Chelsea says, I prefer Corbin as a face though. So if they keep it up, I'm all for it. Looks like that's where we're headed. Maybe it'll be Corbin dethroning Roman. Roman, the head of the family, of all the money and the facilities that come with, and then suddenly runs into a Baron Corbin who's just had a really bad life right now. He's having a really bad life right now. Like I say, Baron, I know the feeling. We're both Thomases after all. Did they, Matt? What was the video? Hopefully something good. Moxley says, I think they should do what they did with Kofi. Completely different situation. Completely different. Very different situation. Personally, I would never do that personally if I was in charge. It's different with twins. It's also different with, the cousins of Roman Reigns. Classic Matt, fair enough. It's the right choice. Bayley being a heel at all times, that's what we like. I was one of those who didn't fully believe that a heel turn would work for her. And yet here we are, and it has. In a big way. Bayley says, Bayley could be a monster face upon her return, though. Bayley, on returning, is likely to get that sort of Triple H in 2001 reception. That's what I see. Yeah, it's true, Matt. It's true. Sometimes we're just wrong. Sometimes we haven't seen something, and so we're just wrong. A WWE show, is it good to get there early? Do superstars come out before the show? Yes and no. Yes, it's good to get there early because the atmosphere will build and build and build. No, because the superstars don't come out before the show. You won't get an opportunity to meet them. You won't get any more opportunities to get to know anyone. Unfortunately. Hey, Titus O'Neil. Do you remember that guy? I remember that guy. Yeah, I don't think you can't hate Kairi Sane, but you can boo her just nicely. I love the Twitter suggestion that Bayley, Miriam, Dakota Kai form a female NWO faction in honor of 25th anniversary. That would be money. That's sort of a random collection of names, though. I got to be honest. I don't think those three really gel together. I don't see it. Jill says, do superstars stay after the show goes off air? Heard they do sometimes. Yeah, you'll get a dark match, and then whoever is in the dark match, usually they will hang around and check out people in the front row and pose for pictures and stuff. It depends who it is. It really depends who it is. Welcome, Kuro Neko Carito. Welcome to the show. Let us know if you're watching SmackDown. Let us know if you're enjoying it. And thank you very much for the follow. I really do appreciate it. This is an Ask Me Anything stream, so by all means, ask whatever the hell you would like. You are very welcome here to get to know us all. Why is Big E coming out? Because it's for Money in the Bank, so he's just going to come out and sit on commentary and be annoying. What's a dark match? It's a match that happens after the TV taping is finished. So they just stick out an extra main event to send the crowd home happy. It's good. It's good. Like the last time I was at a WWE event, the dark match was The Fiend versus AJ Styles. It was just a beatdown, really, but it worked. It worked. Oh, hang on. Guru says, Superstars saying the Thunderdome was part of Talking Smack. They don't do dark matches as far as I know since the pandemic started. Yeah, I am purely talking about live shows. So Chelsea is going to be going to WWE live shows here in the UK, and essentially wants to know what's likely to happen. Last time I went to a live show, we did have dark matches, but in the Thunderdome, there's nothing like that. That said, we haven't got much Thunderdome left. Dylan says, Big E wearing a Bayley shirt. The respect between basically everyone else and Bayley is incredible. Bayley's incredibly well respected backstage. That is a very good thing. A very good thing from Big E. I don't think he'll be the only one either. Moxley suggests that Corbin is the next IC champion. The IC the IC championship isn't really doing anyone any favors, though, is it? That's driving on the sidewalk. Oh, they stole Corbin's car. Nakamura and Boogs stole Corbin's car. This isn't reclaimed. That's just stealing. Oop, hang on. Just says it usually lower card people. It depends. It depends. Chris says only Monday on the Thunderdome is over. Correct. This time next week, completely different situation. Yes, and they took it. I'm calling it a steal. I'm calling it a steal. Yeah, no worries, mate. I'm absolutely calling it a steal. Matt says, reminds me when Big E ran and pulled out a picture of Kyrie saying, Big E likes to put people over. He really does. It's one of the reasons I never see him turning on Kofi Kingston, no matter how many people tell me it's going to happen. I was on a train once going to a gig. Well, a wrestling show, a local wrestling show. And I was talking to my friend about wrestling. And then all of a sudden, the guy behind us, in the seats behind us, said, oh, have you heard Big E's going to turn on Kofi? It's not happening, mate. It's not happening. But bless, we ended up in a big conversation about it. He was wearing a New Day shirt. Good times. Nakamura with a guitar. Haven't seen him yet. Michael says Grand Theft Auto. So right. So right. Should have saved stealing the car for next Friday when they could have driven the car onto the stage. They still might, to be fair. I'm guessing they're going to get to keep it. But that's not a bad shout. Not a bad shout at all. I love big moments like that. They could have driven the car through the Thunderdome and just broken everything. Why didn't they do that? Nakamura is rocking out on his way down to the ring. We're getting close to reaching the end of the first half hour, and we haven't had any wrestling yet. Corbin's sick of this. He's going for him. He's going for Nakamura. Fun fact, when Corbin won the Money in the Bank briefcase, he did it by attacking Nakamura before the bell. Always worth mentioning. Boogs just attacked Corbin, which technically should be illegal, and it's commercial break. It is going to be a full half hour before we get any actual wrestling. Moxley says it's how it should go. Corbin loses everything, then wins the Rumble and wins the WWE Championship. Bloody hell, man. Moxley, you go all in. You really do. You go from 0 to 100 in no time whatsoever. I like it. I like the energy. I cannot wait. That's the moment I feel when I'm going to be like, I'm home now. We're back. You know? We're back. I'm saying nothing. I'm saying nothing. Mostly because there was no crash. To my knowledge, the only match we know of is the 2 Money in the Bank qualifiers. Gotcha, Matt. Thank you for letting me know. Damn. I mean, damn. If you're in the Discord, check it out, because damn. I wish I could literally just post pictures in the chat, but apparently I can't. I don't know why. If you are watching on YouTube, please do remember you can click like on the video. That does help us reach a brand new audience and helps us find new subscribers. We are growing really quite well on YouTube at the moment. I'm extremely happy. Extremely happy. Gotcha, Matt. Yeah. I'm extremely happy with the growth that we've got at the moment on YouTube. We are currently sitting at 603 subscribers. We've gained 40 subscribers in the last 30 days, which is pretty damn good. A video I did yesterday is approaching 400 views, and that's about 20 hours of watch time, which is incredible. If I keep doing that, I'll be monetized in about 3 months. And the video today, 65 views. Still damn good. Still damn good. The third highest viewed video of the last 10 videos, the last week and a half. Just behind the second, way behind the Sasha Banks one. Truly incredible. So I just want to send a quick thank you out to everyone who has been watching on YouTube, everyone who's been liking, who's been commenting, has subscribed. It's a collaborative effort, and you guys have really made this. And we have a new 24/7 champion, a VIP for the 4th time, to Dylan W. Tracy. Dylan Tracy, our new 24/7 champion. And for some reason, the PS4 has opened the trophy screen. It does voice alerts. 1 more time. Michael, you're right. If I just keep making videos about Sasha Banks, I'm going to be making money in no time. What a ridiculous world we live in when that is absolutely 100% true. Genuinely, my 2 most successful videos of the last 2 months both featured the name Sasha Banks in the title. The Smush strikes again. The Revenge of the Smush. I do love that name. I love it. The 48/7, 24/7, 7-Eleven, I-95 South, 2020 European TV champion. But Dylan, thankfully, is still just a 24/7 champion. Yes, Moxie, thank you for asking. The screw did pop loose from the left side, but now it's a bit more sturdy. I put it back in pretty much immediately afterwards, and then I ate some cake because I have some leftover birthday cake from Wednesday. Michael has redeemed a summon for Shane McMahon. I don't know why you could possibly want this, but you do, so we're going to do it. Remember, we need to do this 3 times, and if we do that, Shane McMahon will be the one challenging Bianca Belair at Money in the Bank. Here comes the money. The best in the world, Shane McMahon. Can't you feel it? Can't you feel it? Do not, Michael, do not put that into the world. Admittedly, my channel point options put that into the world already, but do not put that into the world. I missed it. I missed clicking it. Do not put that into the world. I'm just celebrating the existence of R-Truth, as everyone should. As everyone should. Oh, bloody hell, lots happening. Thank you very much, Michael, for the Shanes in the chat. And Dylan just goes, money, 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 money. Welcome, Matt. How are you, mate? How are you doing? Are you watching SmackDown? And if so, are you enjoying it so far? Connecting People for Wrestling is here. Welcome to the show. Says, sup, bud? Hope you had a great B-Day. I genuinely did. Thank you for asking. Wednesday was a lot of fun. It's the closest I've ever been to having a full party, but we had like an hour-long party right here on stream. And you know what? I had a great time. I genuinely did. And since then, things have only got better. So, I don't know, I'm feeling good. Oh, botch. There was a botch there. R-Truth has been wrestling as R-Truth since 2002. And before that, it's K-Quick. He was getting rowdy. Bloody hell. J-Quick says, well, there's the Usos and Roman fully together. There is, that's true. That is true. And it's definitely a good reason to be excited about it. Chelsea says, how many more subs before you play The Last of Us? It's not subs, it's follows. I'm doing all right for subs at the minute. A lot of people are being very, very generous with them. And I want to send a huge thank you out to all of the people who have been so giving with their subs recently. Huge thanks on that. It is follows. And at the moment, so I've got 244 follows out of 250 right now. So technically I only need 6, but I have serious question marks about some of the follows I've been getting recently, and I might not be able to count them. Still, 6 follows is not many. So we'll revisit that once we reach that point. But once I reach 250 followers, we'll organize it. We'll make it happen. Connecting People says, that's great. Did you have any cake? I did. I had a lemon and white chocolate cheesecake. I still have a little bit of it. Just a little bit of it. And it's nice. Corbin just whacked Boogs in the face. Jacob says, I think Nakamura beats Corbin. I agree. Baron Corbin's... He's depressed and he's having a bad run at the moment. Oh, that looked good. Yeah, I agree that Nakamura should be beating Corbin. Michael says, Big E and Pat soaking their feet for some reason is hilarious. Why not? Kuro says, I miss Air Paris. I miss Air Styles, his tag team partner. I wonder if he ever became anything. Football Scouting Report, welcome to the show, says, I miss Ruby Riott. Sorry, they say, I miss Ruby Riott because it's all in caps. I get it. See, she'd be a great challenger for Bianca Belair tonight, and yet here we are. Moxie is wishing that Edge would be WWE champ. He's also wishing that Randy kept the belt from Drew and lost to Edge at WrestleMania. I don't want to see another championship run for Edge. I think there are plenty of other people who have more of an upside and have more to give right now, but I know a lot of people are excited about it. Matt says, Big E and Pat hold the microphone, but Nakamura or Corbin cannot hear him. I'm not sure. I think they're just very focused on the match. The microphone, we can hear it, but they can only hear it as in proximity. You know, the fans are being very loud. Sometimes it's hard to hear with that din from all the fans. Difficult. Kuro says, I mean, if Edge wins and we get Edge versus Cena instead of Reigns versus Cena. Again, I'd rather have Edge versus Rollins than Edge versus Cena because I've seen Edge versus Cena a lot. I don't want to see 2 part-timers wrestle. This isn't a bad idea. Chelsea saying Edge should get a title like the United States and then help push over talent. I would like to see him win the NXT North American Championship and then work with people like Johnny Gargano, Dexter Lumis, Bronson Reed, if Bronson Reed's still there, Hit Row, Edge versus Swerve. Tell me you're not going to love that. I'd like to see that. Matt basically sharing my personal nightmare, which is very, very likely. Moxie, no idea. Definitely not now. And Kura says, either way, we're getting someone versus Cena. Well, SummerSlam, the predicted main event, the reported main event, I should say, Roman Reigns versus John Cena. Fightful recently reported that it's not likely because of a film that John Cena is recording. Wrestling Observer doubled down and said, no, the film's starting afterwards. So it looks like we're going to see Cena, depending on who you believe. Jill says, Edge couldn't go in NXT. As much as I would love to see him where there, his body wouldn't be able to take full-time NXT matches on that hardcore level. Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. It's very similar to Tommaso Ciampa. And it wouldn't be full time. It would be maybe one match a month, because that's kind of how NXT works. People very rarely wrestle. And when they do, when they're top level, it tends to be at takeovers and then 2 or 3 times a month at most. It's very different. Moxley's saying Omos could beat any wrestler. That is absolutely not even close to true. He's just tall. He has no skill really so far. He's very green. Vabav, welcome, mate. Says thoughts on Baron Corbin. I really like the guy. I've interviewed him at some point and he's just absolutely lovely. It's one of those, if you go behind the scenes, you get to know him. And he's just a great guy. I'm glad to see he's starting to get a bit of a face push. But that's a multi-time world champion in the making. Thank you, Kuro. Fair point. Argyle doesn't star Cena. He's a minor supporting role. Very fair. Even if it starts recording tomorrow, it could be one and done, and it could be done in about a week of filming. I think assumptions were made in the report that he wouldn't be available. Chelsea says, are there usually good matches at the UK live shows, or do less talent fly over? Last I went, all of the talent flew over. All of it. So yeah, you're still going to get good matches. They essentially will still produce the same Raw or SmackDown content. They'll just be somewhere else while doing it. And any surprise there is that usually in America. Oh no, we got major surprises last time we were in the UK. There's usually a pro-UK surprise. So for example, maybe Pete Dunne will have a match. Maybe Volta will have a match. That's usually how they do it. Who would beat Omos? Anyone. He's extremely green, has very little wrestling experience. Anyone could beat him. He's just tall. That's it. Bebo says, I think Keith Lee will be great with Iron Claw's contract. Right. Yeah, okay. I remember now. At the big show back in 2012. I remember now. Gotcha. I don't think Coleman can take criticism because he blocks people who don't like him. So do I. What if you don't like him? Why would you be on his timeline? I support blocking people who you don't like. Simple. Jake, welcome to the show. Says, do you think fans are to champ boring at Raw? Probably, yeah. That's something we genuinely have to be aware of. I think there's going to be boring chants. I think there's going to be what chants, probably aimed at Asuka, which is really fucking annoying, and it's not even started yet. I think there's going to be CM Punk chants, and I think there's going to be at least one beach ball. At least one beach ball. Tegan and Shotzi were not planned to be on the show tonight, but they have had to drop a segment. And they don't have that strong a roster at the minute, so they're trying to find ways to pad it out. It's one of the reasons we're still on our first match, and we are 40 minutes in. So far tonight, we've had a promo and a match. This is going to be an interesting one. That's true, Kuro. That's actually a very fair point. Matt says Nikki Cross debuted on the main roster in the UK, as have several others. It's a fair point. Jacob says, if John Cena is indeed attending SummerSlam, shouldn't they be getting him on TV to start the hype train? There's plenty of time to do that. I'd imagine it'll happen either next week when fans are back, or after Money in the Bank when they can just build without getting in Edge's way. It was Matt, but I don't know if all of us are necessarily first and foremost English speakers, or if we use predictive text, or if we use audio to text. There's a lot of different people here, so I try to just interpret instead of correcting. Just says Cena at a live show would be a win for everyone. He can promote FF9, Final Fantasy 9. Wow. And fans would go crazy. Matt says, I think the Alexa Bliss stuff will get the boring chant. I don't necessarily think that. I think they'll try and keep it to a minimum as they have recently. And I think it'll get a this is stupid chant. Or a bullshit chant. Nakamura has beaten Corbin clean with a, and I quote, Kinshasa. They're going too far with this. Bayley says, look out for the AEW chants. That was rare when we had fans before, so I'm not entirely sure on that one. Babeab says, where do you think Buddy Murphy and Strowman will land? Buddy Murphy, probably in New Japan. Strowman, I think he'll be back in WWE before the year is out. Hey, Jarrett is back. Welcome here, Jarrett. Says, I hope the Alexa stuff will get boring chants because I want a character change for her, like ASAP. They've toned it down from where it was, but I'm still not confident. Big E and Pat McAfee are air guitaring violently at Baron Corbin. I feel so bad for Corbin. Missed it. Matt says Aleister Black kind of debuted in the main roster in the UK on main event. He technically debuted as Tommy End during one of the shows as well. That's a good-looking guitar. Megan says, which released wrestler is getting a punk-esque chant from the crowd? Malachi, 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 Malachi. 100%. Oh. I told her myself a little bit there. Chris says, first row back, The Fiend's going to be back amongst other things. There's a lot of people expected back. The fans have some decisions to make. And I'm excited to see where those decisions lead them. Chelsea says, what has Corbin done so wrong? Nothing. This is a build to a face turn. Here comes Natalya. So I imagine this is going to be our tag team match of our 2 NXT call-ups. Natalya and Tamina heading down to the ring with their women's tag team championships. Natalya has new hair, and a lot of it. Against question marks and question marks. A brand new tag team making their debut. I have mentioned before that I expect Ember Moon to come to SmackDown solo, not as part of a tag team. I get the feeling this supports it. Moxley says, this is not a prediction, this is a spoiler. If Brock doesn't face Lashley, Cross will face Lashley and win. Don't see it. Bebo says, name one talent that is loved by everyone. Name one talent that is loved by everyone backstage. Baron Corbin, Bayley, hugely. Kevin Owens, Big E, basically all of the New Day. Tegan Knox, Adam Cole. There's quite a lot. Jada says, I'll repeat what I said last week. If Corbin hadn't been such a jerk the last few years, it would be easier to feel sorry for him. Personally, I do feel sorry for him, but I understand that there's a reason that you don't. Corbin gave us the absolute travesty of Shorty G. That's not true, J-Dub. That's not true at all. Not even close. Matt says, maybe the Usos win the titles in front of fans. Well, to be fair, everything from here on out is in front of fans. So when they win the titles, probably at SummerSlam, I'm expecting them to win the title at SummerSlam over the Mysterios. It'll be in front of fans. Literally nothing has changed. Jarrett says they have to win the tag belts here. Makes no sense to bring them up on lose on debut. That is a very main roster way of thinking. Whereas it's not a very NXT way of thinking. When someone debuts in NXT, they lose and then they work their way up slowly as more gaps open up. So I don't see it being a problem debuting on the main roster and losing. I really genuinely don't see it as an issue. I don't see it that way. Matt says, kind of ironic because before Nox went down with an injury, her and Shotzi were partners on NXT. Ember Moon was just filling a gap then, wasn't she? I didn't hear that, Kuro. I didn't hear that. Longest reigning champions of what? I know, man. I jumped on it as a way of just keeping it rolling. But yeah, I get what you mean. Yep, I get that. One thing I can say for certain is that's not sarcasm at all, is it? No, you're genuinely happy to see the guy. Serious topics. Where we go? Bayley says, does the WWE have any contingency plan if a location has a COVID outbreak and they can't hold a show there? Yes, the Performance Center. They will essentially reach out to arenas and stadiums in the neighborhood, try and find the quickest one. They don't have a standby. They don't have a backup at the moment, but that will become more and more, that will happen more and more often as time goes on. Jake says, do you think Drew could get booed at Raw? Not yet. Not yet. I think eventually we're looking at that happening. But right now, not yet. Moxley says, imagine if Hell in a Cell was this month and Money in the Bank was last month. Reigns challenges Jimmy and beats him down for disgracing the family. Again, that's not something that happened at Hell in a Cell. There was no intention on having a Roman versus Jimmy match at Hell in a Cell. Lardy fucking da. Lardy fucking da. Hyperbole. Fancy. Michael says, sounds like Vegas is having a COVID outbreak. Glad they have a month till SummerSlam. Hopefully they'll sort it. Hopefully so, especially with so many people coming into Vegas. Nakamura will compete in his second Money in the Bank match, for his first being in 2017. That, of course, when Baron Corbin picked up the win. Guru says, the one thing that sucks is WWE's planning, having worked for them for 5 years. Before being fired, they panic when things go wrong. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those. There's a lot of moving parts. Shotzi Blackheart and Tegan Nox have debuted on the main roster. Tegan Nox was not supposed to be debuting on main roster for a long time. And yet here we are. They do need tag teams. They genuinely do. I've been talking about this for a little while. They have no tag teams other than Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke on Raw. Well, I think Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler are still technically a tag team, and they should have broken up a long time ago. Tamina was nowhere near getting hit in the face by this. Jill says, how comes these two are being called up? Right, so because we've got a draft coming, big names will come up in the draft, but the plan beforehand was to have a couple of smaller call-ups, like Rick Boogs, along the way. Less notable call-ups who wouldn't come in sort of a house of fire, but would still come in with a bit of notoriety. I did mention women's tag teams. They needed people. They 100% needed people. So it's good that they finally got them. It's good that they finally got it. I'm interested to see what the armband that Tegan's wearing is. I'm interested in that. But yeah, the reason, of course, this has been split and Ember Moon's been left separate is because Ember Moon is likely to come up in the draft rather than now. It basically means that the WWE don't think Tegan Nox and Shotzi Blackheart are big name stars, at least right now. Matt is absolutely right. Should be noted, Tegan Nox just returned on NXT. I did see that was Nox rather than Tegan Nox, but we'll see if they refer to her as Tegan Nox. Does that... Don't ask the question. I don't like it. It don't work. Seth and the Usos doesn't work together. Absolutely not. And that's not questioning the fact that we're never going to get that Shield reunion. Rick Boogs is a wrestler. He just hasn't wrestled yet. Similar to Omos. Omos very rarely wrestles because he's quite green. Boogs isn't green, but they're using him as in a different role at the moment. I don't doubt that we're going to eventually get a Corbin versus Boogs match. Above says Cena versus Lesnar would be the biggest draw at SummerSlam if it happens. Absolutely not true. Not true. You can't just throw together two massive names. If you want one match that will be the biggest draw at SummerSlam, and you're picking people anywhere, Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch. Sasha Banks right now is a stronger draw than John Cena. I said it. Chelsea, it just makes you wonder why the hell they let go of the Iconics during a tag team drought. Well, to be fair, they let go of them when they weren't a tag team because they broke them up. Oh, I'm going to wind myself up now. Oh, I'm going to get real wound up. Kura says, I don't remember seeing any of Boogs' work. It's mostly in NXT. Matt says, Shotzi and Tegan in the Battle Royal last when Asuka won to face Bayley at SummerSlam. That was a while ago, wasn't it? That was a while. Tegan Nox just missed a cue, changed tact, and then just went back again. Maz says, Cena and Lesnar already happened in the 2914 at SummerSlam. So a good, just under 900 years in the future. Jada rightly pointing out, Cena got his ass handed to him. I knew that, Matt, but I know you like me to be literal. I know you like it. We have a win for Tegan Nox and Shotzi Blackheart from the off. I believe so, J-Dub. I believe this is long-term, but the WWE are choosing not to commit. I'm pretty sure this is long-term. Essentially, they came up this week ahead of schedule because they needed to fill the gap. They don't have that many people left on the roster, and they're struggling to fill 2 hours. That's the reality of the situation. True. No. Edge is trying to be tough. Edge with a little bit of shade towards Paul Heyman there. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. We have a second hour draw segment coming. And it's Sonya Deville arriving. This time it's about Bianca Belair's new challenger. Bianca Belair usually is the second hour draw segment. Makes sense. Let's catch up. Cora says now, who's taking Bayley's spot? We're about to find out. We're literally, after this commercial break, going to find out. A lot of different names are being posited. Sasha Banks still makes the most sense to me, but there are a number of others it could be. As regards call-up, we could be looking at Toni Storm. We could be looking at Kaylee Ray. Carmella has been mentioned by PW Insider. Zelina Vega's another name that's been mentioned. Carmella seems like an okay choice. The match is going to be a throwaway no matter what happens, to be completely honest. The draft is coming just after SummerSlam, Moxie. Right after SummerSlam. Dylan says, Pat just sold that match like his life depended on it. That's kind of the Pat McAfee thing. At all times, feel like you're about to die. Jill says, how long after do Raw and SmackDown shows take to upload on the network? 4 weeks. 4 weeks. Legally, they have to be exclusive to the TV networks for 4 weeks. Bebop says, where is Lars Sullivan? Long gone, and not coming back. Megan says, it's almost like releasing a group of talented women might not have been the best idea. Yeah, it's weird, that, isn't it? It's weird. Like, I definitely didn't see this coming. You definitely didn't see this coming. It's not like literally everyone saw this coming. Ed is celebrating the arrival of Daddy Deville. Kuro is hoping that Sonya Deville is going to put herself in the match. But then I'd wanted a win. Yeah, they've definitely made changes. I'm glad you're keeping track on that one. That they have definitely made a number of changes. They do look good on main roster TV. It's a good start, but we're very early days. Very early days. And Moxley said they should bring Dakota Kai. They're probably going to. I got to be honest, NXT after SummerSlam, we're looking at a whole new generation. A whole new generation because a lot of people are getting called up. A lot of people. This is not going to be laid back. This is not going to be relaxed. This is going to be the end of an era through no choice of Triple H and Shawn Michaels. Mr. Yep. Matt says, I ain't holding my breath for long when it comes to NXT talent and Raw and SmackDown. There's a few that have been successful recently, though. Mostly because everyone else has been released, so they've got no competition. Who's going to be left for the women once NXT call-ups are done? Frankie Monet? Gonzalez? Mercedes Martinez? Zoe Stark? Indy Hartwell? Candice LeRae? That's a division. to start. Tegan and Nox are a part of the NXT tryout matches too. Yeah, the tryouts are a pretty clear indicator of who's coming, at least to start with. Megan says, does make you wonder what's going to happen with the Tegan Candice stuff teased on NXT. I suspect they'll do both at least for a little while. But Tegan Nox is going to have to go on tour soon, so I'd imagine that match is coming sooner rather than later. Jacob says, do we think Gargano, Ciampa, Cole, and O'Reilly are NXT lifers? O'Reilly, no. That's all I'll say. Welcome, AJ. Welcome to the show. Who do I think is beating Cross? At the moment, no one's really there for it. I'm kind of hoping Roderick's wrong, to be honest with you, but I don't know. I don't know. And Dylan says, I want Ilya to take Walter's title so there's a definitive end to his reign, plus their match last year was my favourite of the entire year. I think it'll be a long time before Walter loses that championship. What happened not watching? Bayley's injured. We've got a new contender about to be announced. Master seems like Io is staying in NXT at least for the time being. Maybe she doesn't want to go up. We'll see how long she holds those championships for. Hello, Conrad. Thank you very much for the congratulations. Welcome. Glad to see you, mate. How are you? Let me know what you're up to at the moment on YouTube. If there's anything you would like to plug here. Walter has no interest in moving to the US. He's very openly said he will be staying in the UK and Europe. And if he is drafted to the US, he will leave the company. He said that. Don't think that's true, Vabav. I don't think that's true. Also, sword versus bike. That could be fun if you can literally do chopper to chopper like on Simpsons. Bayley's knees braced up. I like that she literally has Thunderdome pictures of herself around her. Oh, I agree, Moxie. But I think NXT UK doesn't book its champions well at all. It's a champion, and then it's like everybody else just all massed together. Only one person's really getting put over in that division. Interesting, Dylan. Interesting. So who is going to be the challenger for Money in the Bank against Bianca Belair? She's being pulled. I don't see it. The match has been moved to next week's SmackDown, so it's been overflowed. It's not hard to work out from here, is it? It will be Carmella. That does leave Carmella free to enter the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match as well. This is just a complete throwaway match now. Carmella has no chance, and we all know it. Meiko is getting put over. She's just won a championship. Once she's had that championship for about 400 days, let me know who she's putting over then. It's not their fault, it's the booking. Jerry says, I love that she blamed us, the fans. Standard Bayley. Standard Bayley. Next week, Conrad is doing a retro Money in the Bank 2011 review. Anyone interested in that? Check out Everything Pro Wrestling. How are you, Conrad? It's been too long. Are you okay? How are you doing? That's how I feel, Ed. It's disappointing. It's disappointing. Carmella's not winning. I'm glad that that's the case too, to be completely honest. We know Sasha Banks is returning next week. So I'm interested to see how they play this. Hang on. If she wins, she can't enter Money in the Bank. She won't win. She will be entering Money in the Bank. Bloody hell. She's not winning, Kuro. Okay, Matt, I don't see that personally. Not a big match for first night in front of fans for SmackDown. Yeah, it's really not. But hey, it gets Bianca Belair on TV at least. Maybe Liv Morgan gets the opportunity. Actually, let's wait here. Let's wait here. Bayley says Carmella is still a diva-style character in the 2020s. I have no issue with that. There is room for a diva. Feminism means being able to be whatever the hell you want. If that's a diva, all power to you. Chelsea says, I literally just watched the Money in the Bank 2011 today. All the episodes following it. Such a brilliant pay-per-view. You may enjoy Conrad's channel then. Iconic. Conrad says, poor Bianca. We have to give them the benefit of the doubt here. It's not up to them. They've had no control. Moxie says Carmella's getting squashed. Squashed? No. Beaten? Yes. And yes, Matt, Liv Morgan is coming out. Sonya Deville is very pissed off with Liv Morgan. Okay. Ooh. Morgan was in the match. Good play. Good play. You have 30 seconds to get out of the ring, Liv. Liv Morgan's going to get a very good reception next week. Liv Morgan's got a half-decent push here. I said Carmella's not winning. She's still not winning. She's still not winning, Kuro. No, I mean, she's getting battered is what's happening. Everyone says, I think no one can match Brock Lesnar. Then how has Brock Lesnar lost matches? Because he has, quite a few times. It says, I kind of want Liv to win Money in the Bank. It's not impossible. It's not impossible. This is not setting up Carmella winning in any way, shape, or form. I was very clear on this. Bianca Belair will remain champion. When is Money in the Bank? Next Sunday. In 9 days. Bianca Belair saying it's a fake injury. She literally ripped the ACL off her leg. Nice to Bayley there. Just nice. No, Matt. Bayley's doing... Bianca's doing that all on her own. Bianca Bayley's... Bianca Belair... There's too many B's. Bianca Belair is a natural heel. They're just making her a face for some reason. I think the problem is if Bianca Belair goes heel, then she's Sasha Banks. The whole EST thing is very similar to the boss. Maxie says, I think the match will be like Jay versus Roman Clash of Champions. Interesting. And Chelsea is sub to Everything Pro Wrestling. Looking forward to the review. Glad you dropped by, Conrad. And stick about, because SmackDown's ongoing. We have an hour left. If you are watching on YouTube, please do remember to click the like button. That's a big help to me and a big help in making us grow. We have reached 603 subscribers. We've got 40 extra subscribers over the last month. We are gaining at a rapid pace. So please, anything you can do to help, I would be very grateful for to keep our momentum going. Yes, Matt, there are still 2 spots left in the Women's Money in the Bank because with Carmella out, Liv Morgan in, It's Liv Morgan and Zelina Vega. Interesting question, Kuro. Can I ask why that would happen? I don't understand why that would happen. Dylan Tracy dropping 2 gifted subs into the chat. That's 6 in total it is gifted so far. 1 goes to APW Show, so that's you, Conrad, if that's on the Twitch side. And 1 goes to Nemesis Paradox. Nemesis Paradox will be very happy about that. She'll be very happy about that. I'll remember who's giving it to her so I can tell her. She'll be very happy about that. Thank you, Dylan, for your constant generosity. And of course, your support. Thank you very much, sir. Camille will get squashed, but the match will be 8 minutes. All right, Matt is saying, let's speculate who the 2 are. Go ahead, Matt. Who do we think the last 2 members of the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match are going to be? We know Sasha Banks is back next week. We know we've still got Natalya and Tamina. We know it's definitely not going to be Bayley. Definitely not going to be Bianca Belair. Who have we got? Oop, no, missed it. Conrad says, thanks to Dylan. Thank you, Dylan. Kuro says, last week on Talking Smack, KO called Paul Heyman and told him not to let Roman forget about him and he's not done. I don't feel that translates to him helping Edge, though. That's the issue I've got here. Why would he want Edge to win a championship when he wants to face Roman himself? That's what I see. Bayley, Liv is already in the match. Matt says, fuck it, put Tegan and Shotzi in it. Works for me. Moxie says it's not Sasha. Bayley suggests Liv and Shayna. Liv's already in it, and Shayna is on Raw. Kuro says that Sonya is going to insert herself into Money in the Bank. That'd be fun. I would have no issue with that. Please don't tease me with it, though, because I really want it. I think it's more likely we get Sonya versus Rhea Ripley at SummerSlam or something like that. But is it? I just want Sonya Deville back. I want a Sonya versus Shayna feud at some point. Just because I think they just beat the shit out of each other. I'm going to get myself a new drink and take a quick commercial break. So please don't go anywhere. I'll be back in about 90 seconds with a fresh drink ready for the second half of SmackDown. Please don't go anywhere. I'll see you in just a moment. And I'm back just in time. Welcome, everybody. Top of the hour, so I'll do a quick recap. For anyone who doesn't know, I am Tom Collihew. Today we are watching WWE Smackdown, both on YouTube and on Twitch. You can follow me on YouTube, and you can follow me on Twitch very easily. Toni Storm, the call-up has been announced. She was one of the first names on the list that I shared a couple of weeks ago on Spoiler Warning and on Twitter. Not Twitter. Spoiler warning, and on YouTube. One that I've expected for a while. And once again, not considered a big enough name to be drafted, but still one of those call-ups we were expecting. Seth Rollins, very excited. Very excited. Oh, gotcha, Bayley. No, it's not about last two standing. It's about the last two people who would be joining. Kuro, can you source that, please? Where have you been hearing this rumor? Who has been saying that Sonya is going to be putting herself in the match? As a general rule in this chat, we always source our information so that we can make an informed choice as to whether we choose to believe it. So if, for example, Dave Meltzer said Sonya's putting herself in the match, we may decide this is worth believing because that's still a rumor. If, however, an account on Twitter that we don't know has been saying that Sonya's going to be putting herself in the match, I'm not going to believe a word of it, basically. Megan says, if Sonya doesn't put herself in, it's not going to be Sasha, then sod it. Call up Toni Storm and put her in. I think they heard you. Kuro's excited for Toni Storm. Matt says SmackDown is a great fit for Toni Storm. Personally, I would have gone Raw, but she's here, and that's the important thing. Michael says, I need Toni versus Sasha. That could definitely happen. Dylan says, Swiss Toni, what up? Toni in two respects there. I respect the pun. Kuro, unfortunately, Bleacher Report do not report news. They aggregate news. So they undoubtedly shared a rumor, but where did that rumor come from? Let's do this. Let's find out when it loads. Kevin Owens is now on commentary for a match between Seth Rollins and Cesaro. That's quite clever. Bleacher Report, Sonya Deville, Money in the Bank. I've got a lot of which superstars should win. A lot of should. I've got nothing about this. Do we want to see which superstars should take the final spots? I think you're reading speculation, mate. This is very true. When I talk about aggregators, Michael says, Bleacher Report tends to take a lot of their reports from Meltzer, from what I've seen at least. They all do. They all report whatever Meltzer says because it makes them money and it doesn't have to be right. So is a speculation. Okay. Yeah, I know Rick Ucchino quite well. I'm pretty sure that speculation came from me discussing the fact that Sonya Deville is currently training for an in-ring return, but I didn't give a date, and I didn't give a date for a reason. Jada says, is Cesaro in Money in the Bank, or does he have a match? The match that is currently ongoing is a qualifier. Cesaro could be in it at the end of it, but I think Seth Rollins will be the one who does. Matt says, it's funny that two people that EO helped get over in defeat, Tegan and Shotzi, are now on the main roster. Well, as champion, she beat everyone. So basically anyone called up, she would have beaten. I like that from Kevin Owens. My phone's here. Another commercial break? This is another commercial break, isn't it? Ugh. What is going on with SmackDown at the minute? It's not great, this, is it? It's slow. Slow. Yeah, I know Rick quite well. I don't know if you know this, Kuro, but I was the original host of Smack Talk. I was the original host way back when. I don't know if you will have been there during those times. Don't know if you'll have been there at those times, but yeah, I was the original host way back when. No need to be sorry, Kuro. No worries. It's one of those things. We get into the habit of sourcing. It really does help everyone. So it's just a habit that we've got into here. Vabav says, so far, what do you think of the partnership between AEW and Impact? AEW have really benefited from it. Impact have lost, they've got no benefit whatsoever. It's been shit. Jermaine Presley's here. Welcome, Jermaine. Says, hi, Tom. I think Carmella by Bianca next meet. Added into the Money in the Bank ladder match. I think Sasha confronts Bianca next week to set up the SummerSlam match. Gotcha. Okay. So you think next week SummerSlam is beaten by Bianca and then SummerSlam is beaten by Bianca. What am I saying? So you think next week Carmella is beaten by Bianca and Carmella in defeat afterwards gets into Money in the Bank regardless, adding back into it. And yeah, I do think next week Sasha attacking Bianca Belair after the match, that's the easiest way to get the SummerSlam match going, which we know is coming. Michael says, is it just me? Or does he always tend to go to the commercial when they go out of the ring? Yeah, that's usually how I know the commercial break's coming. That's the way they'll do it. Kevin Owens is just so direct, isn't he? I love it. Cora says, I wish I'd got to be interviewed for anything while I was working for WWE. There's still time. I mean, depending on your history, you never know what can happen. Matt says, Tony Storm is the only member of SmackDown roster that held an NXT UK title. Yeah, that because the titles last forever on people, and barely anyone's ever been called up. It's a start. Maybe one day it won't be a start, but it'll be a while yet. Be a long time. Unless tomorrow we find out that Kaylee Ray's getting called up. Then it all gets very confusing. Seems so, Matt. Yeah, that's a fair point. Toni Storm versus Sarray is coming. Tony's been on her way up for a while now, though. She's been getting loss after loss after loss. We've been talking about it here. It's awkward. Not at all, Megan. It's happened. I got used to Riddle. I got used to Ali. I think it's good that they went with Knox instead of Tegan. I like that. I think that's better. But I don't want to see anyone lose the name Blackheart. Babe, I'd imagine this is a question. Best storyline in the past 5 years? So Styles Cena falls just outside of that. Last 5 years. Probably the man Ronda Rousey. That was good shit. Oh, yeah. Cool, Kuro. That's nice. I bet I've got a lot of fun stories. So much going on. Ed suggested Dream versus Black or Ciampa Gargano. Matt also suggests Ciampa versus Gargano. I think that's definitely going to be one that comes up a lot. Meg says, kind of funny because Tegan Blackheart is a good name. It is. I can imagine a band being called that. Kuro says, when and who do we think Becky faces on her return? I think she returns in the draft just after SummerSlam and starts off pretty much immediately against Rhea Ripley. I do have a video on this on my YouTube released today. It says, really missing best of 7 series matches like between Sheamus and Cesaro. I think we already get too many repeats. I think now is not the time for it. We've just had too many rematches recently, and it really hurts my interest in seeing matches repeated. I couldn't care less about this. Could not care less about this match. I'm confident that Rollins is going to win, and I've seen them wrestle again and again and again. SmackDown has not been good. It just hasn't. I don't think there's going to be another match either. I think after this, it's just Roman. Jermaine says, sorry about the last post. Heavily drinking while watching SmackDown, trying to text at the same time. You're a multi-talented man of multitasking, I tell you that. Corey says, I think the only cool story I have is helping set up the AJ Styles Undertaker cinematic match. That's a pretty cool story, mate. That's a pretty cool story. Jermaine, can you give me more information on this, please? Because firstly, that you say they've kind of hinted at something that didn't happen. Toni Storm's going to SmackDown. I mean, she's going to SmackDown, isn't she? Did I miss something? Have I gone the wrong way around? Let me check Twitter. I'm worried now. SmackDown. Yeah, she's going to SmackDown. So technically, they got it wrong. I have not yet, J-Dub. I believe Ed has. So you guys can have a quick chat about it if you want to have a spoiler conversation. Moxie says, I don't think Becky should go for the title when she returns. True. Neither do I. I still think she's going to be taking on Rhea Ripley when she comes back. Megan says, I'm just liking this because either of them will be an asset to the Money in the Bank match. I do hope they both get the opportunity. EPW show Conrad says, I missed the Tony Storm announcement. Tony Storm is coming to SmackDown. And Matt also saw Black Widow. So please do not talk Black Widow here. We are spoiler free at this point. But by all means, if you guys want to have a chat about it, you can always have a DM conversation on the Discord or here on Twitch. There's a number of possibilities for you. Yes, Moxie, this is one of the reasons I think Becky will return during the draft. Fair enough, Matt. Good to hear. Jermaine says, if done right on SmackDown, Tegan Nox could be the biggest babyface on the SmackDown roster for the women's division. Very possibly. There is a lot of people in the WWE who are really high on Tegan. I don't know if you guys are in the Discord, like all of you, but I spoke about this a little bit earlier. And it is very much a case that Tegan Nox was first choice to dethrone Charlotte Flair in NXT. But then things changed in a big way. It's just unfortunate that Tegan Nox seems really injury prone. Really injury prone. Kara says, a lot of people missed it, but the pyro at the end of the match was supposed to go off with Taker on the roof of his symbol, with him standing in it, but it failed the first time. Wow. Interesting. Maybe I was just celebrating the fact that New Day and Usos rap battle is underrated. That's cool. We're about to get another commercial break. Fuck's sake. This is the last match, isn't it? This is all they're going to give us. Moxie says, do you think Pete Dunne is coming to the main roster during the draft? It's a really difficult question. I think NXT needs him, but that's not up to NXT. I think Triple H and Shawn Michaels desperately want him, but it's not up to them either. I don't think Vince McMahon really knows who he is. So I think he'll be staying in NXT. I don't think Vince McMahon really knows who Pete Dunne is. He kind of knows, but not really. No, to mine. When I ask, the only people I'm often told are not coming up are The Way. Now, I'm not saying this for certain because I don't know for certain, things change. But the name of The Way, just it's never mentioned. Anyone there. We're approaching the last half hour. Wow. Megan said, I can see more women coming up from NXT and maybe 2 or 3 men in the draft. There is likely to be a lot more than 2 or 3 men. From what I was told, and I've reported here and on Spoiler Warning, we should expect double figures of call-ups for both Raw and SmackDown. In and around double figures. So far on SmackDown, this brings us to 4, I think. So it's Tegan, it's Shotzi, it's Tony Storm, and it's Boogs so far. That brings us to 4 on SmackDown. I'm still counting Boogs, Matt, because I was told about it before Boogs was called up. So 4 so far. So I'd expect at least double that on SmackDown and then the same over on Raw. Thoughts on chemistry between Miz and Ziggler? It was great. It's a shame they haven't had anything since, but Ziggler's got really good chemistry with pretty much everyone. Dolph Ziggler is a really very talented wrestler. Jared says Vince wouldn't know what to do with Pete Dunne. I just misread it. You'd end up pairing him with Lucha House Party or something stupid like that. Wait, that would be hilarious. Maybe RK Bro is building to a Pete Dunne call-up so that he can join them as a faction. Moxley says, this is how I would book Shayna. Bring her to NXT, give her the title for 8 months and draft her up to Raw, then she'll win the Raw belt. No, absolutely not. I would not have her move backwards. Absolutely not. She beat NXT. We need to move on with her now. There's no point killing time for 8 months, making the Raw audience forget about her, and then calling her up for a chance again. She'll just fall backwards. Kuro has asked Bronson Reed, Adam Cole, Santos Escobar, and his group, Gargano, Theory, Loomis. Based on who you've got there, Bronson Reed, yes. Adam Cole, no. Santos Escobar, possibly. Gargano, no. Theory, no. Loomis, hopefully not. Hopefully. If Dexter Loomis is called up, he might as well retire from wrestling. That's how effective that call-up's going to be. Dexter Loomis should not go anywhere near Raw or SmackDown. Dylan gets it. Dylan gets it. RK Broserweights. Nailed it. That's it. Jermaine says, thanks for the info, Tom. It was an article written on Sportskeeda for 5 likely opponents for Tony Storm when called up to main roster, and they're all Raw stars with the exception of Bayley. Yeah, that's... I don't want to put the pressure on them of saying that like, they were hinting at reports and exclusives and stuff, especially when it's not correct information. Now, obviously, they weren't trying to report that information, and I think it's very possible that is also a Rick Ucchino article, and that's very possible. Loomis called up with a manager. Nope, would still fail massively. Dexter Loomis does not work on the main roster. Matt says, I can see Candice getting called up maybe. Possibly. I find it unlikely. Once again, I think the way will be kept together on NXT, but I can't guarantee that. Moxie says, when Becky returns, do you think she's beaten Rhea? I don't know. I don't know if she's automatically going to go against Rhea. I just think that's the most likely situation. I would like her to lose her first match, to be completely honest. I think that's just a more interesting storyline. If she loses her first match, has a bit of a crisis, and asks herself, am I actually ready for this for a couple of weeks? Then starts getting into a groove a little bit. I'd like it if someone returns with ring rust and then works their way back out of it again. I just think that's something WWE don't do. It's different. That's good storytelling. Good use of that turnbuckle. Exposed it, looked like it was a botch at the time, looked like an accident. Just used it against Cesaro. Okay, they're getting me interested. I've got to give them credit for that. Cesaro's head is really bleeding. How did that happen? They're definitely trying to make... They know how long this match is going to be, so they're just trying to make it work. Bayley says, this is an unremarkable SmackDown. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Even though we had the call-ups, it's not very exciting. This is a let's just survive this week sort of SmackDown. Bold to have a Cesaro corner spot. It's true. Fair. They are really dragging this out. This would have been a great time to use that brand versus brand invitational. Maybe giving Kevin Owens someone to wrestle. Maybe giving us Big E versus Sami Zayn. Anything. Do they call it Rich Holland? No. Too inexperienced for me. Also, NXT UK still needs people. This is a response to something I said earlier that Matt's remembered. Technically, Mia Yim doesn't exist on the main roster, only Reckoning. So if Mia Yim does debut on SmackDown soon, and it's as Mia Yim, WWE would act like she's new to the roster like Piper Niven. That is absolutely correct. That is 100% correct. Conrad says, the bald head bleeds so easy. I mean, you'd know more about that than I do. Look at all this hair. Look at all this. So much hair. Is Reigns getting cheered or booed next week? Both. Same as ever, he's getting cheers and he's getting boos because he's Roman Reigns and he will never escape the boos or the cheers. Okay, that's a lot of red. And that's a stomp. That should be that. a good match by the end of it. All right. I didn't even know that, Matt. I don't watch enough NXT. Thank you for letting me know. It's a clean win for Seth, but also kind of not because of the turnbuckle. Vaibhav says, thoughts on Dominic Mysterio? I think is a promising wrestler and future world champion. So, I'm the guy who a year before Dominic debuted said he will debut on main roster and skip NXT. So, for a while now, I have been talking to people and saying to them, what do people backstage make of Dominic? And he's really popular backstage, and people think he's got a very, very good future ahead of him. They really rate this guy. That said, once he started to get into the ring with people, he started to panic a little bit. He started to freeze up, and he just came across a little bit green. I think he's promising, but he needs experience, and we can't really put too much pressure on him just yet. Conrad giving us a lesson when it comes to the baldness. Minor cuts on the head often bleed heavily because the face and scalp has many blood vessels close to the surface of the skin. Although this amount of bleeding may be alarming, many times the injury is not severe, and the bleeding will stop with treatment you can do at home. Or if you're Ric Flair, when you eventually just fall onto your back, someone rushes out and is like, fuck's sake, it's Ric Flair, there's blood everywhere. Or that time with Eddie Guerrero, that was rough. Mal says he was part of the Pat McAfee faction in NXT, but when he got hurt, Pete Dunne replaced him. That was a while ago, yeah. Jimmy and Jay are trying to attack Edge, but Jimmy just wants to knock on the door. Hey, more Jimmy. We have another commercial break. Right, so the go-home show for Raw will feature a fatal four-way between the four competitors in the Women's Money in the Bank match. That's not a surprise to me. I've expected that for a while. And we've got Bobby Lashley versus Xavier Woods. So this is what was planned for last week. Basically, I expect Bobby Lashley to get a bit of a comeback this week. And stand tall. I have said this, Matt, a few times now. A few times. At some point, and I can trace it right back to the moment he lost to Roman Reigns, Cesaro stopped being considered important. I know, Kuro. I know they've taped it. It depends what you mean by called up. Main roster? No. But they will fill gaps in NXT. WWE are planning a number of call-ups to NXT as well to replace the people who go from NXT. And there are a lot of people going from NXT. We are heading into our final piece of SmackDown. And yeah, so far it's just been uninspired. It just hasn't felt like they actually care much about it, you know? Which is disappointing. I'm disappointed. Kuro is asking, what's my opinion so far on Diamond Mine? And this is, of course, open to everyone. You guys will have watched NXT a lot more than me, but I think it's way too early to say. I think when it comes to Diamond Mine, they've just started and they haven't had the chance to do much yet. There's a lot of talent in that group, but they just haven't had any chance to actually establish themselves yet. Matt says, even though NXT is rumored to be in the draft, don't know if someone like, for example, Ricochet will be drafted to NXT, but we'll see. I don't expect to see people drafted to NXT. I only expect people to be drafted from NXT and then from NXT UK and 205 and the like, although not 205 anymore, to NXT. I don't see any moves downwards, as it were, if you consider NXT downwards. Bob says, Undisputed Era versus Imperium Worlds Collide is one of my fave matches of recent times. I really enjoyed that one. It's a shame about the injury that happened during it, but I really enjoyed that one. And Dylan says, I'm just extremely happy Malcolm Bivens is getting used more. For someone who's rarely used, I see him so much more than I see most wrestlers on NXT. Even just on social media, I'm more aware of Malcolm Bivens than I am of Dexter Lumis. Johnny Gargano, I am more aware of Malcolm Bivens. And I like that. It works. Matt's opinion for Down Man is saying Roddy Strong is getting that edge he was missing, so that's good. Dylan just loudly shouts, Bivens forever! When I can click on it. Bivens forever. Verbov says, I think Dominik Dijakovic is done for in the main roster. Not yet. Not yet. There's still time. I'm not giving up just yet. He hasn't had a great start, though. Cora says, thoughts on a female NWO? I would rather just do an NWO and have them featured men and women. I don't see any reason to do big factions that are only one gender. I like varied factions. Like, I don't like the idea of a new nation of domination. Just be yourself instead. Oh, Kayla Braxton just got a lot of sweat on her face. That's not good. Corinth says, Malcolm Bivens is one of the best Twitter follows. Agreed. Oh. Dylan says, heavily argue that he's the best follow on the Bird app. Did you mean to say argue that? Nia Jax and Naomi get moved to SmackDown the draft. Problem I see there is all the women of color will be on SmackDown. That's why I believe Bianca gets moved to Raw in the draft. I think Nia Jax is likely to be moved to SmackDown. I don't see Naomi being moved from Raw. And I think Ember Moon as a call-up is still likely. So keep an eye on that. Michael says, Roddy definitely needs to be a heel. So this fits well. It does. It absolutely does. Seth is staking his claim, advising Roman Reigns to keep an eye over his shoulder. I'm telling you, Seth versus Roman versus Edge, Money in the Bank. It's a scary, scary plan, isn't it? I think he's putting his hat on it a bit too much, and it's now making me think that's not going to happen. Oh, hey, Edge. Okay, that's good. I like that. In this droning nasally whine. Where's it coming from? Kayla. Fucking love Seth. You understand that Seth's just going to start taking it from you, right? Edge making trouble of himself. Yeah. I'd imagine there's going to be another commercial break, and then the call out from Edge will be our closer. 3 matches, 2 of which are rematches, 1 of which was an emergency call-up. It's not great, is it? It's not great. All right, let me catch up. Matt says, Dijakovic doesn't exist on the main roster, only T-Bar. Very true and a very good point. Jacob said, Jimmy, again, 3rd time tonight. I guess we're going for 4. We will. He'll be down at the ring at the minute. Jake says, I'm really excited for the men's Money in the Bank. It's a good collection of people. It's a good collection of people with good chemistry. And it also means we get certain matches that we haven't seen before. Kevin Owens versus Drew McIntyre. That's all I'm saying. Kura says, thoughts about Rey and Dominic want an LWO return or redo. I don't necessarily think that they do. I think they just want to be pushed. And that's a way to make it happen. Bearbav says, one talent that everyone despises. He has a lot of similarities with a singer called Prince. That's all I'll say. The Who Stole My CD Player story was money. He got it from the sitcom show Martin with Martin Lawrence. This is about Bivens, I'm guessing. Megan says it will set up Seth versus Edge at SummerSlam, which would be good. I think it'd be a waste of a briefcase, but I'm not angry about it. I'm really not. I'm pretty confident that that's going to be the main event. I mean, it's Roman Reigns and it's Edge. I'd be very surprised if it's not the main event. That says Riddle versus Nakamura. Sign me up. That's a very fair point. Those two could really gel well. You're a sharp man, J-Dub, and I kind of love you right now. Kind of love you. Vero says, I'm very happy with the Otis character. Me too, honestly. They've made a big change and it's working. They're heels. They've been heels for a long time. I definitely didn't say anything because I don't know who Ford is. Who's Ford? I don't know who Ford is. Michael says, and this is where I turn it off. I respect it. I mean, it's been okay. Oh, Montez Ford. Right. Yeah, to my knowledge, he was close to being cleared. That's what I've been hearing. I said this earlier today. Spoiler warning. So yeah, that's what I've been told. I don't know about long term. I don't see any reason that they would have continued this feud if it was long term as well. We'll wait and see. It maybe there's been some complication I'm not aware of. It's very possible. I'm not the most well-connected man in the world. I just want to be clear on that. Conrad says, I thought Usos were getting tag titles, but I can see Gable and Otis winning them. I can now. Yeah, it makes quite a lot of sense. I was leaning Usos as well. And I still kind of lean that way for SummerSlam. But at the same time, they built up Gable and Otis very, very well. But they've built them to a certain level. Now they've stopped. They've stopped. And we haven't seen the Mysterios in weeks. Megan says, I still don't like beardless Otis. I respect that. We are entitled to our own beliefs. Michael Hayes in the back. Why isn't? Oh, of course. Yeah, he was, wasn't he? I wouldn't necessarily say creeping, but he was in the back. Moxie, I have not. I was waiting to find out who's actually in the ladder matches. I will likely do that either on Spoiler Warning Monday or Spoiler Warning Friday. Very possibly Spoiler Warning Friday. We'll see what actually happens. Yeah. And quite a bit of it. Quite a bit of spam there. I've got message deleted on Twitch. If anyone still sees those messages, let me know. Yeah, we've got 3 people turn up and just decide to spam. Wow, they really want me to be famous and buy followers. Oh, that's so sweet. Do I see anyone getting replaced or taken out of the Money in the Bank? Because I feel like that's coming. People think that every single week, so it's hard to really say. I wouldn't have said anyone, but then Carmella had to be taken out. So Bev says, one talent that is so close to Vince. The Undertaker is the closest guy to Vince. By far. Now, Randy Orton's getting there. I said, Shotzi Blackheart tweeted that a call-up was for her dad. Oh, that's sweet. That's sweet. I did not, Megan. I did not. Have to look into that because that sounds fun. What I think is a spot between Ambrose and Nia Jax. I really liked Nia Jax looking at Dean Ambrose and saying, how dare you interrupt my interrupt? This was when Nia Jax was actually at her best, when everyone hated her. Great times. Great times. They're advertising Bianca Belair and Carmella for next week. We know Sasha Banks is coming back. That's not true. That's actually not true. And look, another fatal 4-way match between the 4 competitors of a Money in the Bank ladder match. Actually, wait. Big E, Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins and Shinsuke Nakamura. I'm fucking hyped for that. Ooh, okay, I'm excited. I'm excited for that. Cena was close to Vince. Cena is still close to Vince. Vince McMahon's favorite. Can you guess? I'll give you guys a minute so like everything can catch up. Can you guess who Vince McMahon's favorite is? And I'll tell you. I'll give you the full 60 seconds. to guess who his actual favorite is. Can you get it? Can you get it? I'm not going to read any of them out just yet. I'm going to wait till the end of the 60 seconds. Then I'm going to read them out and I'm going to answer. I'm giving myself a little drum roll. Give myself a little drum roll. Just on the inner thighs, a little drum roll. 10 seconds left. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. No one's got it. No one's got it. Vince McMahon's favorite is Sasha Banks. Not one of you even said a woman. Vince McMahon's favorite is Sasha Banks. Mal says that 4-way is going to fucking hump. Ed saying Tom both bashes and says he's hyped for the match all at once. I'm not excited for the narrative that they've chosen. Let's just throw everyone together and just hype up a pay-per-view by doing that. I'm excited for the fact the match is happening. Moxley suggested Sami Zayn. Matt went with Shane McMahon. Bayley went with Riddle. Dylan went with Keith Lee. Ed went with himself. Usually a very fair one. It's a good answer, but not the one. That Matt saying R-Truth. Again, a good answer, but not the one. Megan was distracted by Instagram. Would you have gone with Sasha, though? Would you have gone with Sasha? The thing is, Matt, there are a lot of people on SmackDown roster who are former NXT champions at this point. You're always eventually going to get those things. If they go full NXT style, that'd be great. There is going to be one more commercial break. I'm wondering how they're going to make that happen. Edge is calling out Roman. I know, Matt. Relax, man. Edge is just waiting. Roman is slowly walking to Gorilla. Taking his time. Oh, look, a hand sanitizer station. Oh, I like that. He's not taking the championship with him. I like that there's a big mirror. Like, they always have a big mirror. You'd have put Sasha in the list along with Brock, Roman, and Charlotte. Sasha's definitely number one for me. Not for me, for Vince. He loves her. I cannot even begin to describe it. I like the intensity in Edge's eyes. This is a very different Edge to what we had build up to WrestleMania. No sign of the Usos. This screams trap. Okay, but now they're backstage watching TV. They're actually watching the TV as well. Very true. Very true. You're right, Moxie. Edge is not winning. Edge is absolutely not winning. Ed says, God, I love Roman's music. I do not blame you. It's nice. It's nice. Oop, back. Jermaine says, well, Tom, you're right. I don't see WWE risking Sasha in a ladder match. I see Sasha attacking Bianca after Bianca beats Carmella next week, but Carmella and Mia Yim get added to Money in the Bank. I see it going that way as well, personally. I see it going that way. Roman is not happy that the Usos are coming down. Michael says, I was thinking Sasha, but also thought that was just a bias in me as a Sasha fan. Yeah, you initially followed me because of a Sasha report, didn't you, Michael? I know you're a big fan. You're well into that one. And of course, you were suggesting earlier that I turned my YouTube into a Sasha Banks celebration YouTube account. I mean, you're not wrong. You are not wrong. Jey Uso always looks much more threatening than Jimmy. Just much more. Roman's taking his time. There's 10 minutes left. Usually they have another commercial break. I can't see them finding a way to slip it in. Moxie, a 10-minute match is not a squash. If it's 10 minutes, it's not a squash. Kuro says, I had a theory Heyman would turn on Reigns in the future if Lesnar came back into the picture. Would it be far off? Lesnar doesn't have a working contract at the moment. It's still ongoing negotiations, and I don't think he would be on SmackDown. I just don't think they'd make it happen. Bill says, after this next match of Rhea, what is Charlotte's next storyline? Probably a veteran, a legend. Also possibly Alexa Bliss. Hard to tell. Would be handy, wouldn't it? Would be handy. That was the plan when they offered a contract to Christian. And then Christian was like, yeah, nah. Oh, hey, it's the Mysterios. Do you remember I was saying it's been weeks? So Edge has some backup in the form of the Mysterios. And yeah, I'm back to thinking this is going to be our SummerSlam Tag Team Championship match. That leaves Edge and Roman one-on-one in battle of the cleanest sneakers. Fair, Matt. Fair. I mean, it's not an unfair comment. Ooh. The family is starting to take over. Oh, no, Edge with the Impaler DDT. How dare I, Matt? How dare I? Actually, technically, I think Roman Reigns has custody of Dominic. It takes a while to work it out, but I think legally, based on the chain of victory since, I think at this point, Roman Reigns actually technically owns Dominic. Double 619. I like that Ray held them in place. It made it a little bit more realistic. They're just finishing with a brawl. Easy, Kuro. They've got something else planned for next week. Also, they needed something to make the show a bit less average. I think average is a safe way of saying it. Just average. I think that's where we are, yeah. Reigns technically has custody as far as I can recall. Hold him Ray. Is this just because he can't do the concerto or something? Because I'm pretty sure he can do the concerto. He's just obsessed with that damn pipe. Roman's not bothering to help. It's not a bad shout there, Matt. That could be next week. I'm sure it would. They needed something. They needed something to close out the week. With Edge looking good, I'd imagine next week we finish with Roman Reigns standing over Edge. Probably we get a 6-man next week. I like where Matt's going with that. Roman, as we know, very rarely wrestles on SmackDown. So I can imagine the 6-man next week. Edge and the Mysterios look good together. Yep. Oh, Ed's already off. Ed's saying, Night Hall, have a great weekend. Have a great weekend, Ed. We'll chat to you soon. Hope you have a good night. It's not Jimmy Uso, Matt. It's Jay. It's Jay Uso. It's Jay Uso got his ass kicked. Jay's in the white. Jimmy's in the black. They also have different length hair. So there are some hints that they've done. I like how they both wear matching chains, though. Okay, they're showing replays. Are they going to do this for the next 4 minutes? Because they've still got some SmackDown to kill. I think they've run out of stuff to do. I think they've run out of stuff to do. Jay just sticking his tongue out. Just lolling out. Ugh. Edge is going back after Jay because they need to kill some time. They need to kill as much time as they can. So they're just running it again. They're just running it again. Both Usos have had the same pipe. This is awkward. Ray was about to do something, but instead he's ended up feeding Jay back. This is awkward. End it now. Jembo and Buddy Murphy just got beat with kendo sticks for like 20 minutes. Feels like that. Feels like that. That was awkward. And that's all she wrote. SmackDown this week, pretty much bang average. That's all I can really say about it. It was average. The real Canadian crossface and Dylan saying, stop it, they're already dead. They're already dead. Bloody hell. That just kept going and going and going. I'm going to send our raid on Twitch over to Get the Tables. We haven't been over there for a little while, and they do their own watch-alongs as well, so let's send a raid their way. They are a friend of the channel, and they do pop in every now and then as well, so we're going to send the raid over there. Raids do not work on YouTube, so if you are watching on YouTube, once the raid is activated, I will basically just shut down YouTube from here. But I hope everyone has had a really good time. Michael, I will be streaming on Sunday, but it'll be likely a little bit earlier in the day. I'll try and keep you guys informed, but I'll still be doing it for several hours, so you at least have an opportunity to pop in at some point. Matt Criver saying, one more Thunderdome show. Can't wait for next week with fans. The mood is about to change. The mood is definitely about to change. The raid option should be on the screen now. Please do go with the raid, even if you don't stay for particularly long. It's a good way for us to advertise and market. We've grown quite well over the last few days. Quite well. And spoiler warning, earlier today was a great show. I really enjoyed it, and a lot of people came along for it. So I want to say a huge thanks to you guys for that, for keeping me entertained, for making sure we all have fun, and for just being the great, entertaining, informative people that you always are. Please stick around for the raid. I've been Tom Collihew, and I hope everyone has a very good night.